Welcome back to Behind the Gloves. I'm Gaz Singh, and I'm joined by undefeated pro Inder Bassi. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm good, bro. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Thanks for taking time out to chat to us. This
Thank
is obviously your first time on our channel, so should we start by maybe telling the fans a bit about yourself? What got you into boxing? Who
you.
are your heroes? Your trainer? What's your amateur
Yeah,
record like?
yeah, cool. So my name is Inder Bassi. I'm 23. I'm a super welterweight. I've, I'm 2-0 as a professional. I've been professional for about just under a year now. I was meant to have obviously my third fight in April and then my fourth fight in June, but obviously it all got cancelled because of coronavirus. However, I'm boxing again in 3 weeks on an MTK show, Wednesday, 11th of November. Yeah, and I've been boxing since I was about 12 years old. I think I had my first fight around 12, 13. I had about 70 amateur fights. I won about 55, 50, 55. But yeah, now I'm a professional. I'm just looking forward to my next fight, training hard, and can't wait to fight now.
So what was your amateur record? You said about 75 fights.
I had about 70, 75 fights, won about 50, 55, I think.
Oh, that's wicked, man.
I haven't
So
even got my amateur fight.
you're 2-0 as a professional,
Yeah.
and your first two opponents. Forgot the guy's first name, but
Yeah,
O'Mary I think was the first one.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's a tough journeyman. He's only had like a handful of
Yeah, yeah.
losses by
That,
knockout. That was a
that's
tough
right.
fight for
And
him.
he was a tough guy. Both of them were tough. I mean, in my second fight, he was actually heavier because I had like two opponent changes. So he was like a last minute one. So the weigh-in was actually meant to be a day before, but the weigh-in was on a day.
Yeah.
And so I weighed in about 71, I think, and he was about 73, but it was no problem for me. But I mean, they were both tough geezers, but it's good. You know what I mean? I'd rather box tough journeymen than have like just people who just literally just can't do anything. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Even though the journeymen, they do bring you on a lot and they do teach you a lot, and you want someone who will put up a fight. Do you know what I mean?
So you're going up against Jack Martin on the 11th of November. He's another undefeated prospect that's
That's
coming
right.
up for your ranks. Is there
Yeah,
much you know about him, or do you leave that all to the coaches?
yeah. Listen, at the end of the day, listen, it's a big fight. You know, I'm 2-0 and he's 3-0. And to take a big fight, 50-50 fight early on in my career, but it's a risk. You know, I don't see it as a risk. Do you know what I mean? In my mind, it's like it's another day, another dollar sort of thing. You know, I can't wait to fight. I've been training hard for it. I have no doubt for it. And my coaches and my team, they're confident in me, and I'm confident in myself. Most important. So I'm going to let my talk and do in the ring. Do you know what I mean? Come 11th of November, it's going to be live streamed and everyone can watch. You know, obviously, unfortunately, there will be no fans and no spectators, but it will be live streamed and everyone can see. You know, they'll see a new and more complete fighter.
Oh, wicked, man. Well, everybody's looking forward to it, man. It's a big
Yeah,
show. So what's it like being by someone, a company like MTA? Because they're massive at the moment.
yeah,
They're all
massive.
over the
Man.
States, all over the UK. They're
That's
literally
right.
they're
Yeah.
hoovering up all types of champions,
Yeah.
contenders.
Yeah, that's right. It's buzzing, you know, because like I said, my first fight was on Sky Sports and my second fight was on Sky Sports on a golden contract undercard. So to have your first two fights on such big shows that were both sold out, you know, I mean, it's an honor. You know? Not many people can say, you know, I had my debut on Sky Sports, and I'm one of them people. So to be able to box on a Sky Sports show is amazing. And like I said, I was meant to box again in April and June. Both again were Sky Sports shows, golden contract shows, which have probably been sold out as well, but they got cancelled. But it's good. You know, my stablemates are signed to MTK as well, so it's buzzing, mate. It's really good.
The other thing I wanted to talk about is you mentioned that you fight super welterweight. You're a
Yeah,
big boy. You're about 6 foot 1, right?
about 6'1", yeah.
So do you make the weight comfortably?
Easy,
Is that something that you
easy.
struggle with? Easy.
No, easy. Like you got to remember, I was only an amateur a year ago, and I used to do 69 in the amateurs, which is in the professionals, like middle super welter is 69.8, I think. In the amateurs, it's 69, and I used to make that comfortably on the day. You know, some days we'd have to fight on a Friday, on a Saturday, or on a Saturday and Sunday. I'd make weight both days comfortably. So even now, you know, a day before weighing, it's a walk in the park for me.
And what's your like career aspirations? Are you looking for like the conventional route where you go like area title, English title, British, and then onwards, or do you want to go as far as you can, as quick as you can?
As far as I can, as quick as I can, and collect as many belts as I can on the way. I mean, I'm not too sure, you know. if I'm going to take the conventional route or whatever. But you know, I'm not going to duck anybody, or you know, I want to fight. I want to fight the right fights at the right time. You know, and collect, like I said, collect as many belts as I can along the way. Um, it's not a case of I want to do this route or that route. It just depends what's the right fight at the right time. I'm gonna go for it if it makes sense, and if it makes sense and there's a belt on the line or whatever, it's a big fight. I'm there. I'm taking it. I'm ready for it.
And are
So I
you
don't really.
looking to like step up through the different weight divisions? Is there anybody?
At the moment, I make light middle easy. You know, people are telling me to make Walter. I make light middle so easy, telling me to go down to Walter. But like I said, at the moment, I'm comfortable at light middleweight. I don't know, you know, maybe in the future as I get a bit older and fill out a bit, I might move up to middle. Like I said, if I do fill out and I can't no longer make light middle, then that's not a problem. I'll go to middleweight. I'm not worried about that. But like I said, it's all in time, you know, in time. I'll, however my body grows, that's how I'll go forward.
Oh, wicked! So you're the only Sikh fighter, Asian fighter signed to MTK Global,
That's
and
right, yeah,
obviously you represent your religion quite well. You have your
yeah,
turban and you have your beard. Do you feel
yeah.
pressure on your shoulders, being
Um,
like literally the only one?
yeah. I get what you're saying. Yes and no. I don't really feel pressure in the sense that, you know, at the end of the day, it's me in the ring and nobody's there with me, apart from my training speak. So, you know, like they say, you train hard and you fight easy. So if I walk into the ring with that mentality, there's no pressure on me. Do you know what I mean? If I do my hard work, my early mornings, I train, you know, to the maximum I can, then there's no pressure on me. But it's like a good pressure in a way. You know, pressure is also good for you. You know, under pressure, people perform and I perform better. It's nice to have, I won't call it pressure or like people kind of expect anything. It's more of like it's an honor. It's more of like you know, I'm proud to be the first. You know,
Yeah.
I'm making history in a way, and not everybody gets the chance to make history. And you know, if I go on to win titles or you know, however far my career goes, I'd be the first Sikh fighter to say, for example, win a European, win a world title one day. So in that sense, it's exciting for me. You know, what I mean, I can't wait to do these things because, like I said, I have the chance to make history. Not everybody does. Not many people do. So right now, I do have the chance to make history. So I'm just going to go forward and you know do as well as I can, and you know wherever God takes me, He takes me.
I should have I put context onto that because the reason I said pressure is you come from a fighting family. Your father
Yeah,
used to
yeah,
fight, your uncles
yeah,
fight, your
yeah.
grandfather used to fight. You've
That's
got
right. Yeah,
family members that are in the Guinness Book of Records, from what I
yeah,
can
yeah.
remember, and you've
That's
got
right.
family
Yeah,
members that like referee in the Olympics and stuff. So in
that's
terms
right.
of
Yeah.
pressure, that's what I meant. Like they've
Oh
like
yeah,
done it before you, and you want to like make them proud. I'd say.
that's right. Yeah, yeah. You know, that's like I said, my family. Luckily they're quite supportive. So they've always supported me from a young age. You know what I mean? Even when I was 10, 12 years old, you know, in the amateur fights, they would always be there with me. They would always support him. So it's nice to have a family that supports. You know, not a lot of people know. Not many Asian um, young athletes can say that their family does support them because they just tend to not support them. But I'm lucky to have my family supporting me and backing me 100% of the way.
Oh, that's wicked. But obviously, everybody hopes that they get the support of their family, and it's great that you
That's
are
right.
getting the
Yeah,
support of your family as you push on through your career. Are you
that's right.
hoping to get out again, provided you come through Jack Mountain on the 11th? Are you going to try and
Yeah,
get out
mate,
again before the end of the year?
I would love to. Do you know what I mean? I would love to be like I'm saying. Like I said, I've been training for so long. I was helping, Nav Mansouri, um, for his fight in Eddie Hearn's back garden. I've been training with Nav because I was his sparring partner. So I've been training for ages. So it's been months and months, and I'm really fit and strong. I've learned a lot. So I could fight on the 11th, and then they could ring me and say, "You want to fight another week or two?" And I'd honestly, I'd say yes. Um, like I said, I'm used to boxing 2 days in a row, 3 days in a row in the amateurs. So I could fight every week.
Hmm. Oh, great. The other thing I was going to mention to you was obviously you said you've been sparring Mansouri and you've been training for a long time. You said
Yeah,
that your fight was scheduled for April. This
yeah,
whole coronavirus, COVID
yeah,
stuff, have you found it tough since April through to like maybe now the end of the year? Because not a lot
yeah.
of athletes are getting a chance to get out. Like these
That's
small hall shows are really badly affected by obviously the
that's
current situation. How have you found it?
yeah.
Has training been hard, like motivation, etc.?
Yeah, and like I said, I had 2 fights cancelled. So obviously, in your first year as a professional, you're excited. You have the momentum. You want to have as many fights as you can. But obviously, Corona hit and lockdown hit, and 2 fights did get cancelled. But I was lucky where I come from, like a good stable of fighters. My teammates. Um, it was like a lot of, like you said, small fighters. They don't know when they're fighting. We don't know when small hall shows are going to be back on. But where my stablemates are boxing on big shows, I was training alongside them, so it didn't really affect me in that way. Whereas a lot of up and coming fighters, or even small fighters or signed to small promoters, they have no dates in mind. They have nothing available. They don't know when they're fighting, when they're not going to be fighting. So for them, it might be a bit more demotivating. But where, like I was saying, I was training with Nav and my teammates Danny Dignam, Darko. They was all preparing for big fights. So when I was training alongside them, it felt like I was in camp as well. So it was tough, of course, having 2 fights cancelled, but I did train hard throughout lockdown, and it was like a blessing in disguise for me. I've learned a lot, and I've become stronger, and I wouldn't say I enjoyed it, but I definitely learned a lot during lockdown.
Well, that's all you can hope for as a pro, that you stay
Yeah,
motivated and that you keep the
that's right.
training up, and everything goes well, or as well as it can be, because
As
like
well
we
as it can be. That's
yeah.
right. Yeah.
So
Um,
you mentioned Darko there, your stable mate. Obviously,
yeah.
just been announced yesterday that he'll be taking on Harlem Eubank December
Yeah.
2nd. How's he looking? Are you helping him with his preparations as he comes
Yeah. I
through?
mean, he's dangerous as always, man. He's always a handful, Darko, and like I said, he's only what 6 fights in or 5 fights in, so he's stepping up very quickly. He's he Sorry, he won the Southern Area. I think the quickest. He's the quickest person to win the Southern Area with the least amount of fights in his weight. So he's stepping up, and again, it's another big step up, big fight. He's training hard and he's looking dangerous, and he can do the job. He'll do the job easy.
Oh, wicked. I just want to talk to you about some other fights that have gone on.
Yeah,
Obviously, the weekend just gone, we've had Loma and Lopez. Did you get
yeah.
a chance to watch that, and what did you think?
I didn't actually stay up because obviously when you're in camp and stuff, it's hard to stay up at like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. But I watched the highlights. I watched the first 3 rounds. I just thought before the fight, we was discussing in the gym, and I thought Lopez had the tools to beat Lomachenko, but I just didn't think he wouldn't. I thought Lomachenko was too smart. He wouldn't just get involved, and like everybody thinks Lomachenko is an amazing fighter, but on fight night, Lopez was just too big and strong, I think, and Lomachenko started too late. Had he started a bit earlier, I'm a massive Lomachenko fan, so had he started earlier, I think he could have nicked it, but I think he just got going a bit too late, too little, too late, as they say. But nonetheless, I've seen people writing Lomachenko off, saying he's all hype and all this. I don't think that's true. I mean, I still think he's one of the best fighters in the world right now.
Oh,
I think he will go down as one of the best fighters ever.
he's still in the pound for pound list. I
Yeah, of
still
course.
have him
Yeah,
in my pound for pound list, quite near the top.
yeah,
He's
yeah. Of
definitely
course,
very
it has
talented.
to be in everyone's.
So you
One
said,
loss doesn't define. He can bounce back, and like I just thought he was a bit too small for the weight. I don't think he's naturally that weight, but that's a risk he took, and it didn't pay off.
so you said you're a big fan of Loma.
Lomachenko.
Who else is there that you're a fan of? Is it who did you look up to, that kind of growing up? Who are your
Yeah,
heroes of boxing?
growing up for me, like relevant fighter sort of thing was more Mayweather. A lot of people overlook, I think, right or right. They don't really write him off, but a lot of casual fans, they think, oh, he's not all that, he's this. But I think Mayweather is one of the best fighters ever. Like, I don't think that's up for, question. What he's done, who he's beat. He's beat everybody. There's not a single person, nobody can point a finger and say you haven't beat him or you avoided this person. Growing up for me, it was Mayweather. I used to watch a lot of him. I used to try and imitate him, but nobody can imitate Mayweather. But he's also like Mike Tyson and that. He's every boxer's favorite. One of the baddest men to ever fight, to ever walk this, to walk Earth. He was a bad man just in general. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
every young fighter looks up to him, his aggression and his power and everything. But one of my personal favorites was like Tommy Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard. Them kind of fighters, they were always good. But more relevant fight was for me was always Floyd Mayweather.
Obviously, there's
Yeah,
some big British names in the super
yeah,
welterweight division. You got
yeah,
the likes of Anthony Fowler, Ted
yeah,
Cheeseman, Scott Fitzgerald, all
yeah,
these
yeah.
guys. How long is it before you think that you're up at that level? I know you spoke about you're not sure which route you want to go yet,
Yeah.
but how many
Yeah.
fights do you think you're away from before you before you really feel ready?
Um, whenever I'm ready, whenever my coach tells me, whenever my management tells me, you know what, you're ready to step up and take these fights, I'll take them. You know what I mean? Hopefully, within the next year or two, I do see myself, competing at that level, another 5, 6, 7 fights. Um, I do see why not. I can't see why I can't fight these big names. Um, like I said, I'm not just here to make up numbers and just to partake and have a fabricated record fighting all these journeymen. I want to start stepping up, and like I'm showing on the 11th of November. It's my third fight. I'm stepping up. It's a big fight, but yeah, listen, it's all about timing in this sport. So when the time's right, when my management feels, when my coach feels, when I feel confident in that and ready to take these big fights, because it's about experience as well. They're 10, 12 round fighters. I've never gone past 4 rounds. So like I said, when the time's right, you'll see me in some big fights hopefully.
Well, fingers crossed, man. I hope your journey carries on the way it's going, and
No,
you
thank you, bro.
get the fights that you want, and you get everything you want from the sport. So just before we finish, is there a message that you got for your fans and your followers and anybody who might be watching this video?
Yeah, definitely. I want to just thank everyone who supports me. It's nice having people support you and always giving you kind messages and whatever, and all my sponsors who help me on this journey of mine. I just want to thank my coaches and my family always supporting me. My coach, day in day out. A lot of the time the coaches don't get recognition they deserve, but my coach Kevin Lilly's put work in day out, and of course my family for supporting me and help me live a life of an athlete and follow my journey.
Shout
So
out your socials, man.
thank
Let
you,
everybody know where
and
they can find you.
that's right. No, my Instagram is Inder Bassi _ so follow me. I'm only on Instagram. I'm not on any other social media. I'm not really a social media person. But I want to thank you guys too, man, for giving me the platform to, do an interview and hopefully, that's what it's about. Raising the awareness and reaching out to the public, and you guys, doing an interview, giving me the opportunity to do that. So thank you too.
Oh, no, cheers for your time, Mr. Bassi. Like I said, I hope it all goes well November 11th, and we'll catch up with you when the fight comes around.
Hey Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps. If you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you do so by clicking this icon right here, or else